Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, guys. Welcome to No Humping Wednesdays. Did you see? I had to think about that for a second.
But you still love the headline. That's how you know it's so good. You still love it.
Yeah, truth be told, it's a public holiday in Germany, so I don't know which day it is. That's why I had to think for a minute. Which day is it? But
Okay.
you
What is
are
the
on
what
Wednesday.
what any reason for the public holiday? Is there anything special?
Yeah, so in November, we have so many public holidays which are related to death. It's not funny.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like this pre-Christmassy kind of, whatever, and it's a lot of death related.
I think that's like us with May and August. I think we get all of ours out the way in May and August over here.
Yeah. So we at least keep it on brand in the darker times of the year.
Yeah, I could do with a public holiday or two before Christmas, I have to say.
That's great. So we're back. Julia's full of energy and found herself again, despite in comparison to the last time we spoke, and I'm really happy.
I've had to drag her out kicking and screaming the last week or so, but she is here. So, that whole showing up thing.
I'm here. I'm still here. Great. So today we're talking about snacking. I'm really excited because personally I do love a snack. We'll get to that in a moment. But as per usual agenda, we have a secret question. And Shaun is ready. I'm ready, and I can't believe I've saved this question for so long because it's actually I feel like it makes or breaks a friendship.
Okay.
So,
Not sure I'm ready for this.
Do you prefer crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Oh, okay. That's a really good question, actually.
And it's like a Crocs and Birkenstocks. It's like dividing the nation.
It's funny because I used to have a lot of PB&J's, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That was like when I played hockey. That was like my mid-afternoon snack. I haven't had it since I've finished playing. I haven't had any of those. Do I have a preference? If you said, look, you had to choose one, I'm going to go crunchy. Just added crunch, just something a little bit extra. But to any smooth peanut butters out there, it's very, very close. We're talking 51-49, maybe. I'm not fussed.
You can't be in the middle of that. It has to be either or.
Yeah, 51. Just because I have to choose, so I'm just going to give it an extra point today.
Okay, good. Right answer. We can remain
friends. Good. Phew.
Great. Okay, so on the topic of peanut butter, what's your favorite snack?
Favorite snack. Again, you can't throw in two secret questions. So at the moment, okay, so I'll go at the moment. I am in love with Aldi's protein range. Protein yogurts, protein puddings, protein mousses. They've been a game changer for me, actually. Because two of my struggled areas with over consuming in kind of like my latter part of fixing myself has been seconds at dinner, going back to that extra portion, easily done, and then eating a snack after dinner. Since I found the Aldi protein range, they are so tasty. They're packed full of protein. They are filling for me, and I love them, especially the kind of the caramel ones. If you put the caramel pudding and the chocolate pudding together, you get a Rolo. So anybody that does consume them, you get that Rolo flavor, but then they are doubles in calories. So do be aware of that. So yeah, I'm going to have to go with that. How about you? What's your go-to?
So firstly, we need to speak about this protein range because if you love the puddings, and I think I asked you that question before, actually a few weeks ago, have you ever made pancakes out of this pudding?
Still haven't. I remember you saying now.
I have on my Instagram, shameless plug,
Ooh,
I have a recipe video for protein.
I'm writing that down in my to-do list.
And you only need 3 to 4 ingredients, and they're literally done in like 3 minutes.
Okay, it's on the list.
Good, but yeah, for me, it depends how I'm feeling. I love yogurt, so I probably have yogurt every day with quark. Do you know quark?
We don't
really. Okay, it's a thicky. It's a very thick kind of. It's very very.
It's like a soft cheese, isn't it? Like, is that right? Quark.
Well, yeah, kind of, not really. Yeah, something like that.
A lot of the yogurts and stuff I think are made from that, aren't they? Because that's the protein element. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very like, it's a big thing here actually. So I mix that because there's more casein in there as well. So I mix that with my yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
I like thick yogurt as well. And I have that with some kind of fruit, any fruit, an apple usually because of the crunch. A blurb of peanut butter and some cinnamon on top. And recently discovered coconut flakes. So that's mine.
Now that's really interesting because we've both kind of gone two completely different ways in a sense, snack whites there. Because I was saying to Julia before we started, the definition of snack online is a small meal. Doesn't say anything about Mars bar, doesn't say anything about an apple. It just says a snack is classified as a small meal. Now mine is a super small meal. I've gone for something one item based. Julia there went into about 4 or 5 different items within that, which then it's still, in a sense, if you wanted to call it a snack or a small meal, that's what it classifies under. And I think this is why we wanted to talk about it today, because I feel, and a lot of what we do talk about, there's a huge misconception on snacking.
Yeah. People think, oh, snacking is my downfall because I can't achieve my results because I'm a snacker and I snack too much. And so what most people mean by that is that they think snacking is a handful of M&Ms here, a Snickers bar there, something like, and kind of, yeah, I would even consider having like a little, like, I don't know, a Mars bar as a snack, yes. However, it's not the snacking that is the problem. Is the choice of the snacking. And I think you had the other day, you did a post about that as well, and someone was just like coming at you for saying like, don't promote like junk food. And again, we need to kind of go away from good and bad foods because there's no such thing, but also realize that a snack can be literally anything that's not your main course. Like, for us, it's kind of yogurts, protein pudding, pancakes.
Yeah.
Or if you're on a go, it might be a protein bar. That's also a snack. But just simply going to this like black and white thing and saying snacking is really bad. But why? Maybe your choices are poor, right? And are you over snacking because you're actually not eating properly as well? I think that's something we need to clarify on as well.
Yeah, because it is that, isn't it? What's the reason you are snacking? And if it's used in a strategy to help you feel fuller a bit longer, get you through to dinner time that stops you then having seconds or eating later in the day, then it's a useful strategy. But snacking can go from anywhere from a carrot stick, and hummus that some people do, to all the way to stuff that you introduced there with the kind of yogurt and peanut butter, all the way to, share bag of Maltesers, which is, generally higher in calories. But ultimately what you're trying to do is trying to stay in a calorie deficit for longer if you're trying to drop body fat. Now, some people can do that through larger meals. Some people need to utilize a 4th meal. Some people go as far as 6. I've done 6 in the past. Little and often they promoted was quite a useful strategy, and it does help. It does help keep your hunger at bay. Yet it can also lead to overconsuming if you're not balancing out those meals. So understanding what is the reason I'm snacking. If you're snacking off impulse, that often then is a missing piece of the puzzle, that you'll go into something generally higher in calories, generally higher in sugar, to give you an immediate rush or immediate hit of happiness. That's where the negative link comes in, that we're kind of acting on impulse on snacking rather than something that is pre-planned that can assist your day. Now, for me at the moment, I'm not really snacking at all. Most of my week at the moment, which is fascinating for me because it's never really happened, is I'm on 3 meals. It's not something I've very rarely ever done, and I'm like buzzing. Not because I've ditched snacking, but I'm feeling fuller than I've ever done before. Whereas in the past, I've always been generally a 4 or 5 meal person to help me get through the day. But I know when we were talking the other day, you were saying that you do snack and you do find that useful for you.
Yeah. And I think there's also, you mentioned like the 6 smaller portions, just like there's no best exercise for whatever, there's no best approach when it comes to food. Okay. So we always have to look at yourself and your life and your lifestyle, right? If you have the time to eat 6 times a day, most people don't. Most people are struggling to get 3 meals in.
Yeah.
So start there. Um, but I love a snack. I love to have, and my day is not complete without a snack. But again, I make it like a more wholesome snack. It's not like, like my yogurt. It's really full of everything: proteins, fats, carbs, everything is that's good for me and my goal, right? So it's also looking at, like you said as well, like what does this snack provide me, and what's the cause of eating, right? And do I feel better on bigger meals? Great, have 3 meals a day and a snack, or no snack. You don't need to snack. Like, again, there's no right or wrong answer here. But if it works for you, if it doesn't, and you'd like to eat and like to eat little and often, then that's also fine, as long as it's well balanced and, again, like serving a purpose that is, fueling your body and your lifestyle and your training, hopefully. And not just like randomly throwing food 6 times a day in you, right? So it's also,
Yeah.
where's the context and what's the purpose here?
Yeah. Yeah, and you said it, the feeling fuller, more sustainable energy level that then takes you away from that need of a quick energy burst. If we're feeling low, whether that's mood or energy, our brain knows if we go sugar, if we go artificial sugar, generally, it's quicker. It hits faster. We will feel better immediately. But then we have that yo-yo cycle of then we start to consume more because we need more of that lift. And then we then start to overconsume calories, which is then that slippery slope to weight gain, and then feeling unhappy and feeling lethargic, and it is that vicious cycle. So, as you said, introducing more wholesome food higher in protein, fiber, water-based food will leave you feeling fuller longer, and your energy level more balanced, rather than those huge crashes that a lot of people get from at 3 p.m. by going for a muffin or a cookie to get them through the day. And the self-awareness of doing it later in the day. I did another post. This is a very touchy topic for a lot of people, snacking, apparently. But I did one a while back on Threads, and I jokingly put, "Hey, you don't need that snack." Start to question it. People are like, "Who are you saying that I shouldn't snack?" I was like, "No. You don't need it. You want it. There's a big difference there. Okay. If you want it and it's justified, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Okay. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. But we don't need it in a sense, because we can survive 70 plus days without food as long as water's present. So your body doesn't need that snack to survive. It can live without it, even with your 3 meals, even if you're in a calorie deficit. But you would like it. And as long as you see the difference between need and want, then the relationship with snacking then is a lot healthier.
Yeah. Also, when we look at snacking and maybe like going back into later into the day, where people like, oh, I cannot not have my, dinner without dessert, and my day is not complete. I would really question why. Because also, and it goes back to a well-balanced meal. If your meals are well-balanced, I promise you, and you can prove me wrong, I'll give you 3 months free of coaching, but I promise you, not other people, that if you balance your meals properly for once, and I mean all of them, you have less urge to snack, because you're not just full, but you're also very much satiated, right? And also there's a difference. Are you just full? But are you still, sometimes you eat and eat and eat, but you could eat more because you're actually not satisfied. So
Yeah.
when we look at like the structure of a meal, kind of, you want to make sure it has everything in there that your body needs to sustain energy and to, be properly well balanced and fueled. So having lots of pasta with nothing is shit. Right?
I know my best mate he has pasta and tomato ketchup, and that's it.
I used
Maybe
to have that
sometimes
as a child. I love
he
it.
might sprinkle a little bit of cheese if he's feeling a treat, but yeah, just
No
pure
problem.
pasta
Yeah.
and ketchup, and he
Mhm.
loves it.
It
Yeah,
was my
no, thank
favorite
you.
thing as a child. So yeah, tell him I say hi. I approve. But looking like, not because this is also why we blame carbs so much, right? Because we could just go on and eat all of the carbs, which is, obviously there's not much in it for us to be kind of completely full and satiated. However, they do um they do provide energy, and carbs are actually really good. Are they essential? No, but they're still essential for being a nice human being. And
Yeah.
they provide energy, right? So if we look at the pasta, it's fine to have it, but can you maybe make it a bit more well balanced? Can you add a lot of protein? Always, I tell my clients, especially those who do not track food, always choose your protein source first and then build your meal around the protein, right? So it's protein, then the fiber, veggies and stuff, fat, and then the carbs, right? Because when you have a well balanced meal, you get full quicker, so you don't need to eat as much, but you also are much, much more satiated, which means you don't actually have the urge to go back for that second, third, fourth portion, overeat. And also, you'll be full for longer, right?
Mhm.
Not just full for longer, but also you don't have the need to, you don't think about food that much, because your body has everything it needs for another few hours.
That's what comes down to, like, the breakdown of it when you've got more wholesome food, and wholesome food isn't plain food. It can be very interesting. There's one recipe that we use is it is a vegetable based pasta, but it's delicious and it's so filling, and I'm very much a protein based person, but the digestion takes longer when you're eating, more vegetables and more real foods. That digestion takes longer, which then it's that, again, that slower release energy and that more filling element to your meal. Hence why you don't need as much. Where you eat a Chinese, for instance, it's already broken down. Hence why we can really easily overconsume it, because we don't have to do half of the work. The body doesn't have to do half of the work. Hence why it's like, right, keep going. I'm not full yet. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Wait half an hour and you have to undo your button in your pants because you've way overeaten, but it's too late. It's
Yeah.
too late. Whereas if you can slow it down with more wholesome food, there's so many recipes out there now that are simple and easy that will be filling. It's just taking that time to practice. I'm terrible for it. I really want to go on a cookery course, actually, just to try and get my head around actually taking the time to do the recipe. HelloFresh, I loved HelloFresh. Just gets very, very expensive if you don't have the deals, but I loved it because I didn't have to do the weighing out. It was like, right, this is already weighed out for you, put this in, and I loved it. I loved making those meals, and they were super filling, they were delicious. So it is a strategy if somebody wanted to go down that route. But if we kind of bring it back into snacking, how do you feel? We briefly touched on it in the beginning, but what is the reason why people are still labeling snacks today as a bad thing?
Because I think really the most people think, when they think of snacking, they think of that Snickers bar or that Haribo or that something, right? Because I feel like snacking is kind of being thrown around to use when you just mindlessly eat, or in the evening you've had your dinner, now you're on the sofa watching like Netflix or whatever, and there you are with your popcorn and cookie box, right? And that's snacking, which kind of, yeah, it is, but it's just that association we have, right? That snacking is something, usually a sweet treat, usually, something more kind of mm, less nutrient dense. So people think, okay, snacking is my problem. But if we then change the narrative and the mindset around snacking and look at, like you said in the beginning, what it actually means and is, and use it as a tool that it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
it can be really, really good and really helpful. But then also, again, using snacking as the tool to actually notice that you're now snacking, like being aware of it and not like on the go and like not like inhaling your snack, right?
Yeah.
Even if your snack is a Snickers bar, how about you take 3 deep breaths before, sit down, and then consume your snack, even if it's that Snickers bar, because I promise you, it'll be 1,000 times more delicious And you will actually feel good for it and not feel like, okay, now I need another one, because you're actually aware of snacking and not unaware of what you're just putting in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's with that Snickers bar, it's not the problem. If you ate nothing else in a day, which will be really hard to do, but some people can do it. If you ate nothing else but a Snickers bar, you are not going to gain weight. Some people do pause when I ask them the question if you will gain weight eating just one Snickers bar, nothing else, because obviously the first instinct is, well, that Snickers bar is bad. It's not good, but it's like what 250 calories, something like that. And it's got peanuts in, so there's a small element of extra protein over a Mars bar, just to let you know. But if you only consume that, you are not going to gain weight. Yeah, okay, it could, you're going to be hungry and it could lead to problems. That's, we're not kind of going into that part, but that Snicker bar isn't the problem. If you then go to 2 Snickers, or you need more crisps, or you need more food, there's something missing in the rest of your day that hasn't been resolved by that Snickers bar. And often, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. And I look through and you see the crisps or you see a chocolate bar and you're like, hey, but that's not going to fill me up. So if I'm hungry, what's the point in having something? And that's taken some work for me to do, to ignore that. But I feel like that relationship, and I'm not a massive food labeling fan. I don't like calling things bad. You said a few times, you said right at the beginning, people labeling themselves as a snacker. I am a snacker. That's an affirmation. It's a very powerful tool, using an I am statement. Okay. And that's a belief that you've come across, which can be changed over time if you choose to shift your perspective of I'm a snacker, I'm out of control, or whatever. Got to use those affirmations for good if it's something you feel like you want to change, because snacking could be that you do eliminate it to have larger meals, or it could be that you shift away from a Snickers bar into something more sustainable and filling that stops you over consuming later in the day or later in the week.
Yeah. So a couple of things I want to mention, actually. If we look at snacking, and then a lot of people, I don't know, you've probably come across as well, they're like, okay, I now, instead of the Snickers bar, I'm going to have a protein bar. I promise you this, looking at nothing but the calorie amount, you'd be better off with that Snickers bar. Because if we look at the labels of a protein bar, they're shockingly high in calories. And that 10 extra gram that you get on protein, I don't know, it's not going to make or break that much of a difference in your day. So, or if you want to have a protein-filled sweet treat, maybe have a protein drink with like a Kinder Bueno or something on the side. Like, that's just looking at calories is ridiculous. But you'd be better off a little bit more filled than a protein bar that actually just doesn't really taste good anyway. Like, I'm not a big fan.
But that would come down to like testing, though, right? Because if you tested the Snickers bar and you were satisfied and it did nothing else, then you've tested the Snickers bar and it works for you. Whereas if you switch it to a protein bar, you test it. Do I have the same feelings? Has my cravings changed? So if I try a protein shake, how do I feel now? But so many people don't test to see what works for them. They just go with what people tell them. Find out for yourself. We're all different. What works for you, Julia, won't work for me.
No.
And that's okay, as long as I am not then going and blaming other things, as long as I'm trying and testing what fills me up. Okay, for instance, porridge versus granola. Everyone says porridge oats are so good for you, blah, 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 blah. When I used to eat porridge oats, I would overconsume in the day because it never filled me up. I was hungry at like 10 o'clock. I now eat granola that people panic about and go, and I'm sure we might get some sugar police on here. It fills me up. I'm full. It's really helping me, stopping me overconsume. So it's testing to see what works for you as an individual that fits into your life. Take a week, 2 weeks out of your day to try it and see what you come up with. You might be surprised.
Yeah, try it. But also, like, I think the point that I was trying to make is that people associate the protein bar is better value than the Snickers bar. It's not about like, because often we also, I think, just mindless snacking without a purpose, because we think, I just need something sweet right now, so they just have anything, and then they think, okay, I might as well have a protein bar because it's extra protein, right? But actually, calorie wise, it's like a whole meal. And also, fun fact, I'm not advocating for fast food, but a cheeseburger has better macros than a protein cookie. That is insane. So anyway, moving on. Another thing, like two things I want to quickly touch on, right, is what I teach my clients as well is we try to include rather than exclude, right? So whatever you're doing currently, keep doing it, but how can you make it better? And so if that is the Snickers bar, can you combine that Snickers bar with something else, like a yogurt or something that has a little bit more nutritional value, but also makes it more of a going back to a meal? Because then you're actually now your needs are met because you had that Snickers bar, but also you're much longer like satiated and fuller because you actually made it a little smaller meal, right? Or bigger snack, rather than just having that Snickers bar. So how could I maybe combine that? That's one thing. And another thing I want to touch on as well is if you constantly feel like snacking, especially when we look at sweet things, what need does this snack fulfill? Okay, because often you're tired, you're underfueled, you're exhausted and stressed, and other needs in your life are not met, whether that's with your partner, if you know what I mean, whether with yourself if you're single.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? It's actually we need to normalize talking about these things. Are you just, what else is going on in your life that this Snickers bar is trying to fill? Which gap is it trying to fill? So always just stop and ask yourself, am I dehydrated? Do I just need to drink? Do I need to sleep? Do I need to actually eat something because I haven't eaten all day long? Or just a little croissant in the morning with a Starbucks? What else in my life is going on where I'm not taking care of myself? And if you have the answer to all these problems and you've taken care of them and you still feel like having that Snickers bar or whatever, Sarah just said, I can't think of anything worse than the Snickers bars, whatever, choosing poisonous.
Yeah, I don't know why we started with that today, but we'll go.
I don't know. I would just want to stick about now, to be honest. But if all your other needs are met, go and have that Snickers bar, but enjoy it. Like we said earlier, right? Sit down and properly eat it, and not just mindlessly stuff your face with it, but actually appreciate every single taste and bite, and then that will make a whole lot of a difference. Because, like you said as well, Shaun, it's not always what we eat. It's more how we eat it and under what kind of circumstances, right? Are we just on the go in front of the TV, whatever, in between things? Are we actually sitting down and being calm and rested whilst we're eating?
Yeah. I think when you get to that point where you can enjoy a food item without labeling it, you're in a really powerful place. I'm going to have a treat today. I'm going to have an ice cream. Don't label it. Doesn't need to be labeled, because treating how come it can't be fitting to your balanced lifestyle anyway, that you are seeing it as an addition. Just order the ice cream and, like you said, sit and enjoy it, and don't label it. Don't feel guilty afterwards. It's one item. We've just said there, if you just ate ice cream and nothing else in the day, you're not going to gain weight. So it's not the item that is at fault there. It's the reason that you might need to go back for 2 or triple scoop or whatever you might do. And once you've got that relationship where you don't have to label, you are in a fantastic place that you can just eat food and still enjoy it without then having to put it on a pedestal, I suppose. Its main job is to fuel us.
Yeah. We give food too much purpose, sometimes not non-purpose, but too much meaning, because food is great and food is amazing and it's very important that you eat. However, the amount of thoughts we put, I see that with my parents, right? We're having lunch and my mom's already asking what you want for dinner the next day. And I'm like, Mom, we haven't eaten dinner tonight.
You eat and plan, Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong, but we just put too much focus on the food and constantly thinking about what is my next meal going to be, what is going to, oh my God, I can't eat for the next 3 hours. I'm going to literally die. No, you'll be fine. I promise you. So stop giving food so much wrong attention, right? That also plays a lot with how you've been brought up. one of my clients, for example, she has this kind of treating I don't know, like, but like, she's like, I've had a really good week, so I'm going to treat myself. But also back in her childhood, she could never have a treat because there was no money for buying like chocolates and stuff. And then Shaun was gone for a second. There he is.
And I've flipped sides. I've moved.
Sides. All right. Okay.
We
Good.
do that.
Who are you? What just
Wow.
happened?
I'm fascinated that we just did that.
I was scared for a second. Bye.
Yeah. Weird.
But yeah, anyway, so like, what is your kind of past upbringing with food? And it's like important to also really dig into these things, right? Something you could never afford when you were a child, and now you have the resources to buy chocolate whenever you want.
Yeah.
And treating yourself, that's also something you need to address and work on.
Yeah, even down to, if you were in the play park as a kid and you fell off, a piece of equipment and hurt yourself, if you got a cuddle, you would still today as an adult prefer a cuddle to make yourself feel better. Whereas again, a lot of adults, when their kids are crying, they can stop their kid crying by giving them a chocolate, a sweet, or something like that, an ice cream. And then you do continue that link. These connections are forming all the time, no matter, until your last ever day. Those connections can change and adapt and weaken and strengthen. So there is a huge relationship with how you were raised. One of the ones for me where I first came really across caffeine was I moved into a team house with more adults for the hockey, and they all had like Pepsi Maxes and all this stuff in the fridge, and I'm like, so what? I can buy this now and drink them whenever I like, and I did. Because for us it used to be like maybe if we were lucky we got a can like as a one-off treat, whereas now I can have it whenever I like, and that kind of did start a little bit of the slippery slope on that side, that because I wasn't allowed it, or whether it wasn't funded or whatever, I can do that now. And there is a huge link to our upbringing, and it's not just parents, it is schools, your friendship groups, how we were raised at that time. There is so many different elements to it, but digging in and looking into that, you can start to be aware of it and then go, actually, yeah, you know what, I'm going to now refuse to be this person that I was, got to this point, I want to change. And then you can start to implement your new strategies.
Yeah. So I think that's another episode in itself, to be honest, because it's a huge topic, and I think but yeah, so what's the conclusion now that you're on? This is messing with me. You can't.
I don't even know which way to look now. But it's the day old thing, right? And a lot of people hate that coaches and trainers say this, and people will say, well, which way should I do? Should I snack? Shouldn't I snack? And it's the D word. It depends. It depends. We can give you advice, and you can either choose to take what we said today about testing. So, you might do 3 days where you implement your own brought in made snack within your calories at 3 o'clock or wherever you need it, and you test it and see how it works. And then you might go 3 days where you would make your meals bigger, and you would take away that small meal calories and implement it into your other 3 and see if your cravings disappear. But ultimately, nail on the head, it's really looking into your defense systems, your stress, your hydration, the quality of your food, the quantity of your food. If your defense systems are in place, most of your cravings will go away. Not all. Okay, we live in a hunter-gatherer society still. Our brain is still very mammal-like, but you will have more willpower. You will be able to question whether you're having the right snack or not. So you can either ask a professional to help you work on that with you, or you can test. I think that's where I'm going to leave you today. I'm not going to do it for you. There we go.
I mean, we'll give so much, so go back and take notes.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. You can see results with snacking, and you can see results without snacking. A lot of it will just purely come down to your relationship with the word, I think, more than anything. If we called it something different, Buttercup Fairy, we might start having, a Buttercup Fairy at 3 p.m. and everyone thinks it sounds brilliant. So maybe we'll try and change the word up.
I now crave a muffin, so that's the problem that
maybe we'll think of a better word.
But yeah, nothing to add. So it's like with everything, it depends, and it really up to what works for you and your lifestyle and your goals and what you are kind of. The most important thing when it comes to dieting and exercise and whatever your goals are is what can you adhere to, because everything and anything works. However, what can you adhere to? What can you fit into your lifestyle long term? And that is your best answer. So, food for thought.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I have my moments. Amazing. Well, that's it for today, I think, right? That was good.
Yeah. But as we always say to everybody, any snack questions, throw them in. We're always looking for ideas. Some people just pop up into our comments and in our lives, and we create an idea from it. And otherwise, we take, we do take recommendations from you guys. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube Music. We are on YouTube in general. If you want to catch up with any of the other episodes, we are covering a lot of areas to help you. So please check them out.
People are so confused by you being on that side.
I'm trying to ignore it, but I'll deal with it after the live. It's eating me up a little bit.
Oh my god! Yes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much.
When video people now do like the snap, like the cut screens, and they come in and out. Maybe that's what we were doing to try and keep everyone's attention.
You must watch it back and see what happened there, because it was very freaky. I was like,
and very quick.
Very quick. But anyway, we appreciate you guys for being here and commenting as well. Let us know what is your favorite snack. Right? Always good to get inspirations.
Let us know what your favorite small meal is.
Small meal. That's what we call it. And yes, everyone, have a good day. We'll see you back in 2 weeks. Not completely, but with this live.
It's going to be a good one as well. We already know what we're pretty much going to talk about. So
yes,
it's going to be
and
good.
we'll be on the right side of our screen. That's so weird, man. I can't get over it.
So I don't even know if I'm on the right side anymore.
You're on the right side. Thanks, Shaun. That was great.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all soon.
See you later. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.